All right. By the way, we were in a little bit of rehearsal prior, and Dr. D heard the bump there.
So good.
And he took him back to the old days when we watched Peter Jennings and Tom Brokaw and Dan Rather, the big three. So it occurs to me maybe I need a mustache. I need a Ron Burgundy level
or a
mustache
big red
that I can
velvet
slap
suit. Yes.
on just for this segment and tear it off as we go forward. Okay, here is the headline. Monster.com is the source. The headline, these jobs have the highest and lowest divorce rates. All right, set you up here, Doc. You ready for this? The CDC, they get involved in this type of data as well, which I find interesting. Sickness of the soul. I like that.
It kills us.
It does kill us.
Yes, literally.
The American divorce rate right now, you may know this, is 2.9% per 1,000 people. So it's at historical lows. But that's the rate. Now, the figure varies, of course, when you put in race, age, education level, and the research is showing what kind of job you have. So that can change it, but that's the average, 2.9% per 1,000 people. Okay, so here we go, John. I thought this would be
So these are new. I haven't seen these yet.
This is new. He's not seen this.
I'm excited to see this.
He didn't want to know, and we're just going to break this down. All right, so now these are the jobs with the lowest divorce rate. And when we say jobs, we're talking about a job title here. And so the number one on the lowest divorce rate. So this would be the most marriage-friendly job according to the data. I don't know if we can call it that, but here we go. Actuaries. Now, I had to look this up because
Not surprising.
I tend to be a guy who knows his words, but I was like, I think I know what that means. But I went and dove in. And these are basically people who measure
risk management. Right.
So do you see a tie here?
Yes.
You think these people are assessing their mates?
This is going to be super fun. We can just generalize everybody. Yeah, this is somebody that has looked at somebody and thought, I'm going to get married. I'm going to pull up my spreadsheets and create the worst possible situation and work backwards. I think we're good.
Yeah,
I can see that.
It's like they're taking on personality type. Maybe they're taking on their career that's mate, potential
and
mate.
again, I've got no data to back this up.
No, we don't.
If I got a friend who's an actuary, my guess would be
all right,
they're the least likely to drive their motorcycle too fast or drink too much or to cheat on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That they're a stable human being.
So a little fun word exercise. If you could only pick one word to describe a successful actuary, how their brain's working professionally only, what word would you pick?
Stability.
Okay, stability. All right, so hold on to that word.
Okay.
Because I think there's a pattern here.
Okay.
Number two. Now, 17% is the divorce rate.
Okay.
Among actuaries. Very low.
Yep.
Okay. Next on the list at 18.9%, physical scientists. Stay with me. Number 3 on the list, medical scientist and life scientist. You're talking about 18.9% for physical scientists, 19.6% for medical science. So I'll stop there. There's a hula hoop in my mind.
Yeah.
Do you agree, as a man who studies the brain? There's a hula hoop around those 3 different types of work.
The science researchers I knew were very methodical, just as people, and they follow a process every day, and they check in and check out. And there's seasons of stress and seasons of not stress, but yeah, it's a consistency. It's a stability.
I think so too. They crave process.
Right. And they revere process.
They revere it. And let's be honest, I'm not trying to take the romance out of marriage, but if I sometimes were better at the actual process,
come on, dude,
I would probably have more opportunity for romance.
I think my
wife
wife
take the garbage out.
If she was here, she'd be like, "Yeah, you're a hurricane. You're like being married to a taser, Deloney."
Right.
Yes.
And if you look at the actuaries, the scientists, pretty stable.
Yeah. Just as humans.
Just as humans. All right.
Allegedly.
Next is clergy. Kind of upset they're not number 1.
Well, they're not allowed
19 to. I know. That's what I'm saying. But then number 5, rounding out the top 5, software developers, 20.3%. Now, a quick scan at 6 through 10, physical therapist 6, optometrist 7, chemical engineers 8, religious and education directors 9, and then physicians and surgeons 10. Of the top 10, I was surprised by that, given the nature of the stress, the hours. But again, I see a theme here outside of the clergy. Everything seems to be very science-driven, medical-driven.
Yep, process-driven.
Science and medical.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Very matter-of-fact. And another thing is, you have to have hard conversations when you're in those jobs.
Yeah.
Right? If you do this, you will die.
That's a very good point.
That's part of it. So maybe they're more equipped to have hard conversations at home, too.
All right, now, jobs with the highest divorce rate. Now that we've kind of got you engaged.
This will be fun.
The chat room can jump in as well. If the chat room wants to make some predictions, we'll see what you got here. What would you say, if you were to take a blind guess, the job Job title with the highest divorce rate.
Radio personality for sure.
No, thankfully. Gaming manager. 52.9% of gaming managers.
Casino.
Yeah, casinos. Yeah.
Could see that.
Yeah, you can see that. Bartenders.
Could see that. Now,
number two.
I think there's initially my first thought would be, yeah, well, there's people everywhere throwing themselves at you, but my first guess on those two jobs would be the hours.
That's what I think.
You're not at home.
Absolutely.
You work in the middle of the night, and it's hard to have a life with you.
Because number three backs us up, flight attendants.
There you go.
Gaming service workers, 4. So we've got a theme here with the gaming hours. This is funny. I had to look this up. Rolling machine setters, operators, and tenders. These are people that actually set those gigantic construction machines that are paving highways. You know, the big giant cylinder wheels, all I know how to call it. Very interesting. Huh. So a lot of stress there. Telemarketers 8. I got to tell you, I think they're bored out of their mind.
And they work late hours.
We talked about this our last segment.
Purposeless, yeah.
No meaning.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking telemarketers.
No, I mean, you got to make your money. That's right.
But baby, you want to talk about hedgehog focus.
Man.
Smiling and dialing. There ain't a whole lot of smiling.
Yeah.
So very interesting. Industries that rank lowest to highest. Architectures and engineers, the lowest, 27.5%. Computers and mathematics, again.
Process.
Military, 28.3%. So the very high ones, oh boy. Protective services. That's your legal, your firemen, all that kind of stuff.
Super high stress.
High in the transportation areas and office and administrative support. Very interesting findings there. Very interesting.
So what do we do with that? Well, when I hear that, here's what I think. I immediately think everybody, regardless of what job you have, should have some relational skills like having hard conversations, like letting your needs be heard and met, having enough confidence to say, I don't like it when this happens. Could we start doing that? Right? To be able to practice those hard conversations.
Yeah, I think one big takeaway is we saw some natural discipline and wiring in process people that make the disciplines and the priorities of marriage maybe a little bit easier, if I could make that conclusion. Not making excuses for people who aren't wired that way.
But look at marriage as a skill set to be learned.
That's exactly right.
As a process to follow.
Yeah.
Instead of just like an adventure to have.
Yeah, there's some discipline there that I think us party kind of off the seat of our pants people could pay attention to.
That's right.
I think the second big takeaway is that there's no question that the work environment and the hours and the absence of being away from family, there's no defeating that. That's going to win every time.
That's right. And
so you got to figure that part out.
Yeah, and I learned this the hard way this fall, and just seeing you this weekend was wise. Like this fall, man, I hit the road and I was all over the place, all by myself.
Oh yeah.
And I thought that the paychecks would override my absence.
Never does.
And my wife said, "Hey,
never does.
The house misses you." Yeah. And then I saw you this weekend. You had a great event. You're going to help some folks, and Stacy went with you, right?
It's always
your
the
wife
best.
Went with you, and what a great way to double dip on that, right?
It's incredible.
So stay connected to your family when it comes to time. There's no trading for presents.